Hi guys, this week we're talking about levels of organization. So another word for levels is this word hierarchy, which means just levels. So as you start with the smallest and you get bigger and bigger. So the hierarchy of life starts at the bottom level with cells. Here's some plant cells and here's some human cells. Cells are the smallest living thing, so anything that's smaller than a cell, like an organelle or an atom or a molecule, is not living. Cells make up tissues, which are groups of cells that do the same function. So they're all the same type of cell. So for example, in this plant, these cells are all leaf cells. They're all doing the same function. And these cells are all intestinal cells. They're all doing the same function. Tissues make up organs. So an example of an organ is intestine. As you see here, it's a small intestine, or in a plant, a leaf. So you might not have thought about plants having organs before, but they actually do. Leaves, stem, roots, those are all organs of plants. Organ systems are a collection of organs that have the same task. So down here, this is showing your digestive system. And then an organism is the entire living thing. So we're going to talk more about organ systems and organs later on in the year, but you do need to know that the order is cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and then organisms. And that this is true of all multicellular things. So fungi, if they're multicellular, plants, and animals. Here's a diagram that shows the larger hierarchy of organization. So smaller than cells are organelles, like we've learned about nucleus, mitochondria, vacuole, molecules, and atoms, which are specific elements. So hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, those sorts of things. These things do not meet our standards of living things. So they can't reproduce, they're not made of cells, they don't use energy. Those things, these three things don't do those. When you get to a cell, the cell is alive. And so it's the smallest unit of living things. Like we just said, tissues, organs, system of organs, organisms. Then when you get bigger than organisms, you start to get into ecology. A population is the same type of organism living in an area. So in this picture, it's these elk that are all living in the same place. It says ecology. And then you have a community, which includes all the living things in an area. So that would be the elk plus the birds. Then you have the ecosystem, which also includes the non-living things like mountains and water, along with the living things. And then a biome, which includes everything that's in the same climate zone, which you learned about in 6th grade. And finally, the biosphere, which is the whole Earth. So as a summary for this week, the hierarchy of living things begins with cells, then tissues, which are cells that are all doing the same function, then organs, then a system of organs, and then an organism. Every multicellular thing has these levels of organization: fungi, plants, and animals. That's it for this time. Bye.